by little, bit by bit, little by little, yeah.
Om Shanti. How do we go? Bit by bit and little by little. In the 14th century, there was a very good king, Robert Bruce, in Scotland. And probably most of you might have heard his beautiful story. He was defeated by British. He was driven out. His soldiers killed. His wife held captive. And in utter despondency and despair, he was thinking of retiring from this life of a king and going to the Holy Land and spending the rest of the time of his life in prayers. And it is shown that whilst he was resting in one cave, thinking about his failures, thinking about his internal sorrow and suffering, he saw a spider weaving its web. And that spider caught his eye, because every time that spider was weaving a new web, a new string, it was falling down. And Robert Bruce counted how many times that spider fell down. It was 6 times that spider failed. And now he was alert, and now this king was alert to see what will happen next. Will the spider try again? Will he be successful? And in his own mind, he makes a resolution that if this time the spider gets to reach its target or is successful in weaving that web, he himself would take up the arms again and he would make a final and last attempt against the British. And he finds to his utter surprise that the spider made a last final attempt again, the 7th attempt, and in that 7th attempt the spider was successful. And immediately he gets up, he goes back, he collects the army, and for next 8 years, relentlessly, vigorously, patiently fights against the British and for his motherland, Scotland. And ultimately, in 1314, he was successful in driving the enemy out. So this is a story which is often taught in childhood to all of us, to tell the importance of patience, to tell the importance of not giving up at any point of time, to continue making attempts, no matter what are the situations, no matter what are the circumstances, no matter what karmic accounts we have to settle, but keep on making attempts and never fail. Recently in one of the classes, Dadi Janki in Shantiman was telling about this, that many effort makers get disheartened and they give up making efforts. And that spark and that enlightenment and that animation and that vivacity is lost. Never to give up, to continue, to go ahead, not to yield is the goal. And we have to rush towards our goal. We have to run towards our goal bit by bit, little by little, inch by inch, step by step, by and by, gradually. If we analyze our lives, whatever the fall that happened, it has not come all of a sudden. It was very gradual. There are many souls in this yajna who left suddenly. But if you analyze, it was not sudden departure. The preparation had started long back. The thoughts kept on building up, and gradually they reached the climax. And at that climatic situation, then they left. And there was some external influence, some external stimulus. So everything that is happening is the result of those small efforts, is the result of that bit, every iota, every little thing that is happening in our lives. So just as the fall has been gradual and we never realized, for example, mood, somebody's nature, somebody's sanskar, some habit, how it is formed. It has not formed all of a sudden. It's a journey which was very, very gradual. If we analyze our own lives, whatever position we are at present, it's a cumulative result of many things that happened in the past. And if it is not very good, and few things are bad, worst, then if we want to change them, the process should start in a very subtle manner. It should be very gradual. Because when we say we are working on sanskar, it is like working on something which is in the subconscious mind. It has got no direct conscious control. It's sometimes very difficult to access the subconscious mind. And all habits, all sanskars, all our nature, all our hard-formed habits, deep-rooted habits are stored in the realm of subconscious mind. And we make efforts and we make pledges and we make oaths, vows at the conscious level. And then they fall down. So long as one is in Madhuvan, everything is all right. But the moment it has been seen, the person goes back to his place, everything is as it was before. So the attempt has to be done at a very, very subtle level. It's a deep internal journey. So today's topic is little by little. One twig at a time and the nest is created. The weightlifter increases the weight bit by bit, and then he is able to gradually lift bigger weights. You put one coin at a time and the piggy bank is full one day. But every coin counts. A drop of water makes the lake, but every drop counts. So every small attempt, every small effort, every extra 5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 second effort is helpful. Because the enemy is gigantic. We cannot directly attack it. Every time we have done it, we have fallen down. So, rather than making progress a revolution, it's best to convert it into an evolution, which should be very gradual, very slow, but permanent. Don't go for revolutions. On the outside, it looks good. A revolutionary change in life, that's fine. That can happen with some souls, but not all. An alcoholic who has been drinking alcohol for a very long time, he understands that I should not. He understands that it's not good. He understands that it is destroying my life. Yet, he can't give it up. The force of habit is so strong, and we all of us are being driven by that subtle force of habit. And how that habit is formed, and when it was formed, and how it became so strong, that is a mystery in itself. So just as we have those wrong, the worst, the unrighteous, the habits which are against Srimad, is it possible to form new habits? Is it possible to create new sanskars? Is it possible to bring about that subtle, deeper internal transformation which would be permanent? And the answer is yes. But the process is little by little, bit by bit, one step at a time. So how do we go about it? And what should we do exactly? I'll divide it in few steps. The first step would be gradual withdrawal from the outside world. We are so much attached to the world of noise, sound, crowd. And the first step towards this would be gradual withdrawal. It doesn't mean that I run away somewhere. It doesn't mean that I go away to some far off place. Wherever I am, whichever place I am staying, I have to just shift my consciousness from external world to the internal world. The world which is within me is very vast, very big. And no matter what I hear, no matter what somebody else tells me, unless and until I myself go within, nothing is going to happen. So the very first step would be withdrawal. Gradual withdrawal from everything which is outside. As if some call is coming from within. As if somebody is calling from within. As if somebody is thirsty within. As if somebody wants me to attend him. And that somebody is I myself. I am thirsty, I am hungry for some deeper experience. I am not satisfied with philosophies, suggestions, words, advices. These things don't satisfy me. There is someone who is within me, who is yearning, longing for a very deep experience. So the first step would be gradually to withdraw. And the withdrawal would be not physical, but emotional, intellectual. Let me go away from this world of noise, sound, and come to that point of silence, and the silence which is within me, and the silence which is the greatest speech. If we analyze the lives of all the Brahmins across the world, at the present time, we will come to a conclusion that definitely we have forgotten that Seva, service, is the fourth subject. We have made it the first subject. At the stake of Gyan, Yoga, dharana. Everyone is so much lost in the jungle of service that there is no internal harmony and time for that subtle tapasya, for that subtle soul conscious stage. That spark which was there long back is missing now. And gradually one comes to a standstill. And remember one thing which Baba said some time back. Service should be preceded by three things. If these three things are not there, then that service will create conflict. And that service would not give that supersensuous feeling of bliss. First is vairag, that is disinterest. Then is tyag, that is renunciation. And the third is tapasya. If these three things are not there, and we straight away jump into service and lost in the expansion of service, somewhere we find that we are not enjoying the Brahmin life. Outside, you will see somebody is doing Amrit Vela, somebody is going to Murli, somebody is following the etiquettes of Brahmin life, and yet there would be some vacuum within. Because we are forgetting somewhere that service is the fourth subject. And before the subject of service, three other subjects are there. And unless and until we are strong in those three subjects, only focusing on service is an act of extroversion. That service would not be a spiritual service, but it will be something like social service, what the other people in the world are doing. Our service has got a spiritual dimension, and for that, our internal stage should be very, very strong, situated in churning of knowledge, jnana, and yoga, and remembrance, a very strong remembrance of Baba. Only such a service is fruitful. Otherwise, it will be a service for the namesake. An internal turmoil, internal disturbances. So the first step towards this internal realization would be gradual withdrawal for some time, and bit by bit, little by little. How do we withdraw? Steal some time for silence. Wherever you find time, go in silence. Wherever you find time, go in solitude. There are so many corners in Gyan Sarovar. Go anywhere. Sit all alone, without anyone, without talking, without telling anyone what you are doing. Just sitting and contemplating. Just sitting and self-remembering. This is what is needed. And that should be a very gradual process. Seek silence and seek solitude. These are the two nectarine words of spirituality. The deeper the silence, the deeper would be the experience. Otherwise, we are lost in words, we are lost in classes, lost in speeches, lost in crowd. And spirituality starts with silence and solitude. So that is the first step. The second step would be to go within. To go within. There is some world which is within me. A world which has got some broken emotions, some fractured feelings, some unhealed wounds, some traumatic memories, some subtle sins. The internal world is very big, and I have to understand that world. What's happening in that inner world? Outside world, others can see, but that inner world, only I can see, no one else. Just as these clothes, okay? And if you travel in a dusty road, the clothes get soiled, and then you wash with water. So there is a journey outside, there is a soiling of clothes, and then there is a water. We are traveling in time. And thoughts accumulate dusts. And they also need some water. But that water is not so simple. It's not the outside water that will wash the dirt of thoughts. Some deeper water is needed. The water of knowledge. The water of churning. The water of contemplation. The water of going within. Unless and until this is there, this journey of time, one person sits like that for 24 hours. He doesn't do anything, but even after that, after 24 hours, he has to take a bath. So just imagine, the thoughts are traveling in time. And in the time journey, so much dust is getting accumulated over these thoughts. They also need washing. They also need a bath. So that bath will come by going within, by exploring the world which is within me. And I alone can do that. No one else can do it for me. So the second step would be to going within. The third step would be to see what is there within me. Self-observation. Self-observation. Why the mind behaves in a manner it behaves. Mark Twain, the great author, had written a very beautiful thing about himself. He said that once I went to the church. I was sitting there, and the priest was giving a lecture, a class, a discourse on donation, on giving donation to church or giving of wealth for God. And he was so fascinated by the lecture, and during the lecture only he decides that this time I would give $100. The moment that donation vessel comes in front of me, I'll put $100 in that. The moment the discourse finishes, he comes to the conclusion that 100 is too much. Even 60 would do. Because God doesn't see how much you are giving. He sees the feeling. He sees the emotions. So what is the point in giving 100? I can give 60 is okay. And that donation vessel, that container, in the church, they move like this. And it starts moving. So when it is moving like that, he decides that 60 is too much. I can see that others are giving only 50 or some are giving only 40. So I will give 40. And then when that vessel goes further ahead, he finds that some people are not giving at all. So he feels that even God will love them also. So he says, okay, I'll give just 10. And when the vessel comes in his row, he finds that none of the persons have given. So he decides that I will not give this time. And when that vessel comes in front of him, rather than giving, he sees if nobody is seeing, he takes some money from that box. And that box goes ahead. This is how the human mind works. What he decided at the starting and what happened at the end. He ended up stealing some money from that box. This is how the mind behaves. At one time, so elevated thoughts. At another moment, it goes down. And then some new dimensions, some new thoughts. Every time it comes to new conclusions. So it is not about, I will do this and I will do that. It's a very subtle and it's a very gradual process. First we have to understand how the mind behaves. What it wants. For example, an alcoholic, he decides that today I will not drink. But every time he goes in front of that wine shop, he is automatically attracted to that shop. This day, he decides that no matter what happens, I will not go. He has been doing this from last 30 years. This day he decides, I will not go. And he goes in front of that shop because his house is on that side only. And the moment he goes, this time very strong determination, and he goes and he is successful. He doesn't go to that shop. And he's so happy after reaching the other end, and then he says, oh my mind, you are best luck to you. Thank you to you. You have done a very good job. And as a reward, let me go back and drink. That's the reward for you today. And he drinks the double that day. So this is how we are tricked by the mind. So the third step would be to see what I have done. Rather than making new resolutions, first let me see. Last time I came in Madhuban. Last time I stayed for 10 days, 15 days. Last time these were the resolutions, and last time all these things I did, and then from here I went home, and last 1 year what I did. Let me see. Let me see those subtle small emotions. What happened? How was I constant and stable there as I am here? As I was last time? What all things happened within my internal world? To see what is within. And this is a very gradual step. Bit by bit, little by little, one should try to see those things. And everything would not be visible suddenly. Because subconscious is like a dark room. And you can see only those things where you focus the light. Other area remains dark. So you have to go with one torch in the inside world to see what is there. With that torch of remembering, with that torch of detached observership, and see this was the thing which is within, and then come out. Then the next would be to, as I said, to know the things, to know the internal world. The next would be one is see and another is to know deeply, gradually. And to understand the things which are within me. Rather than making any attempts or any pledges, let me just try to understand my mind. Just understanding. There is a vice, for example, anger, irritability, or something which comes on and off. What is the best way to defeat it? Is try to understand this anger. Try to understand this irritability. Try to understand why I get so hyper, so sensitive at times, dejected at times. Why so many mood swings? Why can't I remain stable? Why Baba's remembrance is not stable? What happens? What pulls me to know, to understand? Another step is to analyze. Analyze it. This is the knowledge, what I have, and this is what I am doing. Let me analyze myself. An internal deep checking. And the greater the silence, the deeper would be the checking. And such a thing, what we are discussing here are so subtle things that nothing is seen on the surface. Nothing. There was a German mystic, Eckhart, and once he had a habit of staying in silence and solitude for a long period of time. And he used to depart in woods and sit under any tree in jungle, all alone, thinking about life, thinking about himself, thinking about his goals. And once it so happened that two of his friends were passing by, and they came to him and they said, "Oh, we thought you are alone, that's why we have come to give you company." And he says, "I was enjoying my own company, now you have come and made me alone. After you are coming, I have become alone." So these are the men in the history who loved solitude. If you look at the lives of Brahma Baba or Mamma, both of them loved silence too much. Wherever Mamma used to go, the first thing she would inquire is, where is the terrace? Where is the terrace? Because that's the only place, when you go to a new place, you will find solitude, you will find silence. And if you analyze the life of Brahma Baba, in last 6 months, when he used to sit in that hut, he made somebody even to remove the watch, because that watch would make the voice of tick, tick and tick. Such deeper love of silence. Recently, Dadi Janki was saying the other day, your home should pull you. And she asks the family, the audience, does it pull you? The home should pull you. The silence of that home should pull you. So analyze yourself. And then there will be the process of transformation. Transformation is something which will come as a result. It is not something that I resolve. Definitely resolution is necessary, but it is the result of all of these things. I withdraw from the world, I go within, I see within, I know within, I understand within, I analyze my own self, and then gradual transformation would come. So little by little, what we have to do, now we will see few of those things. The first thing we have to do in this is making Amrit Vela as strong as possible, little by little. Increase it by 5 minutes every day. Increase the timing 5 minutes. If you are getting up at 4 o'clock, make it go 5 minutes back. If you are getting up at 3:30, go 5 minutes back. If you are getting up at 3:15, go 5 minutes back and see what happens. If you are getting up at 3, go 5 minutes back. Here you have got ample of time. And the other day also I was saying, the only effort for doing a very, very powerful Amrit Vela is not to get up early in the morning, but to sleep early at night. Try to sleep early. Because there are so many temptations at night. So many digital temptations. The earlier you sleep, you can get up as early as possible. You know, long time back, there was Chief Justice of India, Krishna Iyer. And he used to come to Madhuban. And he is known as the conscience keeper of India. He died at the age of 100 recently. And he wrote about more than 84 books on law. He was a very intelligent person. So he used to come to Madhuban, Pandavavan, and he used to stay in Indraprasth. And there would be cultural programs and so many things here. And he was often invited as a guest. But he used to say, I sleep at 9 o'clock, please excuse me. I have to sleep at 9 because I have to get up at 2 o'clock. And that's my habit. He used to get up at 2 o'clock and write his law books. That was his habit. He used to call, he would sit on the stage, and the moment it is 9 o'clock, he would request and he would leave. See, a worldly person with a worldly goal, he was very strong in his dharana. So the best thing to do about Amrit Vela is not Amrit Vela, but to get up early to sleep as early as possible. Rather than unnecessary wasting time. This is another thing. If it is a service, it's okay. If you have some important work to do, it's okay. But we will find that most of the things we do at night, they are less important and that can be done at some other point. So it depends on person to person. But make it an attempt to sleep as early as possible, before 10 o'clock or by 9:30, so that you can get as early as possible and you have a very strong, powerful connection with Baba. A very strong feeling of bodilessness, a very strong sense of soul consciousness. This morning in our Pandavavan, one brother was sharing that he, for 12 years, he did Amrit Vela sitting only at one place in meditation hall. And that was his habit. 12 years, from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock, sitting only at one place. So there are many secret, hidden effort makers in this yajna, whose only aim is just to become complete and perfect. Outside they are doing their services, but internally they are just doing only one effort, to experience as much as bodilessness as possible. Today morning's Murli is entirely based on giving up this attachment to body. A very strong Murli on attachment. So many times Baba said that. Get detached, get detached, get detached. Living alive, dying alive. So many times. So, bit by bit, make Amrit Vela as stronger as possible. The second thing is, bit by bit, be as creative as possible. Every day, find out something new. Every day, take some new thought, some new drill, some new method of meditation, some new churning, some new contemplation, some new reflection, some new point from Murli, and some new discussion. Unless and until there is creativity, life becomes dull and drab. So creativity in Jnana, creativity in yoga, creativity in service. Service also, whatever service you are doing, see what new thing I can do today in the same service. Suppose we are having one program we have been organizing, 10 programs you have organized. Now 11th program, what newness I can bring in this program? What creativity I can create? When you have this thought, automatically creativity will come. When you have the thought just to follow the custom, the ritual which is already formed, creativity stops. You have to sit at some other dimension, some other platform, some mountain, and from there to see everything at a higher platform. And then you realize many things are there which I have not done. That sense of self-complacency has come, and that prevents further progress. So bit by bit, creativity. Bit by bit, increase the purity, the level of purity. Let the thoughts become more and more purer. Let the emotions get purified. Let my words which I speak, let them be as pure as possible. Let my actions become pure, and most importantly, my relationships. Are they pure? Husband, wife, parents, children, one Brahmin, another Brahmin, teacher and students. Are these relationships very pure? Or they are having traces of some impurity, attachments? That I like this teacher too much and I do not like the other teacher. Today's Murli Baba said, some children say this teacher is very sweet. She explains very nicely. And Baba says, she doesn't explain, the soul is sweet, not the body. So there are subtle attachments in relationships. So purifying bit by bit. And increase the purity at the level of thought. When you have nothing to do, you are waiting for somebody, just take the thought that I am a pure soul and spreading vibrations of purity around. A very simple thought. But this thought is so powerful. Such many thoughts would combine together and would become complete purity. Just as sensual thoughts, how do they come? They come bit by bit. If analyze the crimes of the world, somebody has committed some sensual crime in the evening, how that crime is committed, what the person is doing throughout the day. That sensuality is trickling in bit by bit. And gradually it becomes so much that uncontrollable and the act and the crime. In the similar manner, the vicious thoughts, they dribble from some corner. Just as a rat is very small, it enters from any place. This Maya rat is also like that. It enters from any nook and corner, any crevices. So bit by bit, creating pure thoughts. Then bit by bit, increasing determination. Make determination that at the starting of the day, I have to do this today. At the starting of the day, I have to churn at least 5 topics from Murli. For example, in today's Murli, in Blessing, Baba talked about contentment. The basis of contentment is to have attainments. When you have attainments, you have contentment, and when you have contentment, you have everything. And the basis of all attainments is to use the treasures in worthwhile manner. So this was the blessing. Okay? So just write down contentment. And throughout the day, I have to churn about contentment. Am I contented in life? What are the causes of my discontent? Why there is a howling, growing dissatisfaction within me, in spite of the fact that I am doing everything. I have perfect Amrit Vela, I have Murli class, I am doing service, I have a good purity, evening yoga I have, and still I feel discontent with things. Why? Trying to find out. So bit by bit, increasing determination. And then bit by bit, increasing self-control. And most important, self-control is needed in food. Most important is self-control is needed in what? In Brahma, Bhojan and in Toli. They should not become the cause of my lack of self-control. Baba has said this multiple times, that if any Brahmin soul is falling sick again and again because of his own mistakes, Baba doesn't call that boy, that Brahmin soul, a yogi soul. Control of food habits, bit by bit. You know, when I was a student, by one of my friend's mother, whenever she used to go any tirth yatra, any pilgrimage, she used to give up one food item which she liked very much every year, just for the sake of control. Otherwise, there is no end to this. Somebody has said a very good thing. There is no limit to self-indulgence, but there is a limit to self-indulgence, there is no limit to self-control. If suppose one likes laddu, how much he will eat? 100? There is a limit. But there is no limit to self-control. One decides, I don't want to eat. So nobody can do anything. He can go on like that whole life. So food has a very subtle impact on our body, on our mind, on our emotions. And yogi's diet should be very controlled, limited, spiceless as much as possible, as less salt as possible, little by little. There are some people, without even tasting, they have the habit that the hand goes immediately towards the salt container and they will put it. First they will put salt and they will eat. They have not even tasted it. But that's an habit. So less of salt and less of oil and less of all the spices and less of all the things that is coming out of fire. More and more natural. The energy increases, the vitality will increase. When you go towards nature and towards natural food, bit by bit. The world of cooked and the world of raw, there are two worlds. This is addictive, this is attractive, this creates craving. Go towards the natural as much as possible. That will create a new energy in body. Why people are rushing here and there to nature cure center and all that? They do it, follow it only for 10 days and after that, they lose everything. They don't follow it. Make it the lifestyle to survive on as much as fresh, natural stuff as possible. that will increase vigor, vitality, longevity and everything in life. And most importantly, soul consciousness. There are two causes of fall from copper age. One is body consciousness and second is cooking. So go towards natural bit by bit. And then, bit by bit, giving happiness. Bit by bit, giving good wishes. Bit by bit, giving blessings to everyone who comes in front of us. Let me give as much blessings, as many good wishes as possible to everyone. And then bit by bit, increase the holy company, the satsang. This gathering is a very pure gathering. Try to be in this gathering as much as possible. Try to be in this fort as much as possible. Sinful actions would not be committed once you are in this fort. Bit by bit, inculcate virtues. Bit by bit, go within. The journey within should increase every day. Bit by bit, increase your chart of yoga. Bit by bit, increase your love for Baba. Write a letter to Baba every day. Talk with Baba every day. Invoke him in between every day, multiple times. Talk with him, ask him, invoke him, take his help. Baba says, use me. Why you don't use me? Wherever you are going, just take his hand with you, as if his canopy is upon me and I am going. So increasing the feeling of his company, his love, his subtle power is acting upon me. As if he is the only one who is there with me in this campus. I am only with him, that's it. An utter silence. Make this Baba Milan your silence retreat. The stillness of mind. Let the mind get still. When a man comes to Buddha and he says, I have many questions to ask you because you are teaching very controversial things. I want to ask you. Buddha says, but I have one condition. You have to stay with me for 1 year. After that I will answer all your questions. And without asking anything. The other monk who was sitting other place, an old monk, he says, please don't listen to this man. Because I also came like this only, once upon a time. And he also said me that stay for 1 year. Now it is 30 years I am staying with him. And all my questions are lost. In silence. So please, if you have any questions, take the answer now. Because if you stay with this man, it's dangerous. If you stay with him, your questions would be lost. Because his silence is very powerful. So it's like that. So bit by bit, increasing love for Baba. Bit by bit, increasing Murli churning. Bit by bit, observing Srimad more and more deeply. Bit by bit, understanding Srimad more and more. Take one point of Srimad, analyze it from all dimensions. We have got such a treasure with us, and probably we are not realizing the importance of that treasure. For example, there's a very, very beautiful example of a man. This man had a farmhouse, a beautiful farmhouse, and he had a field, he had cows, and there was a hill, but he was very unhappy with everything because the lake was not good. It had very little fish. The mountain which was there, it was obstructing the sun rays, and the field was not very good, and the place was cut off from the world. It was somewhere in solitude, and he was unhappy for that place. And the barn and his house was far away, and there was so much darkness there. So he decided to sell off this farmhouse. And he called his real estate agent and told him, I want to sell this farmhouse. Please do something. Because I am not liking this place at all. So after some days, he was reading newspaper. And in the newspaper, he sees an ad. Because he is in search of a new house. So he sees the ad. The ad is saying, there is a beautiful place, a very quiet farmhouse, which has got beautiful hills from where the rays of the suns are filtering every morning. It has got a beautiful territory and the best of the cows. And it has got such a beautiful lake that if you sit there in that lake, you get the feeling of heaven. And the barn is also beautiful. And everything is so described so well. So he reads that ad again. Then he reads that ad third time. And then he reads the ad fourth time and decides, I want to purchase this house. At the end, he sees the name of the same real estate agent. It is the same home. It is the same place where he was living. So he immediately calls up that person and says to her that, please, I don't want to sell this. This is the place I was looking for all my life. The department where I am at present. The house where I am at present, the center to which I am attached to at present, the Madhuban when I come here, is it not the best place? Probably it is the best. But I see it here, let me see from another dimension. And I will find that the place I am in at present is the best place. The position I am enjoying at present is the best position. Whatever is happening to me is the best in my life. My office, my work, my job, my seva, my gyan, my yoga. This is the best place I can do my yoga. So let me have no complaints. A sense of contentment, a deeper sense of contentment arises. So bit by bit, increase contentment. Bit by bit, increase patience. Bit by bit, increase the quality of service. Bit by bit, increase relationships for better. Bring more harmony, more sweetness, more love in the relationships. Whatever fractures or have happened in the relationship, let me repair them. Let me correct them. Let me mend my old ways. Let me reduce this ego bit by bit, which is responsible for disturbances in relationships. So analyzing things, knowing things. Let me increase my silence bit by bit. More silence. After 8 o'clock or after 6 o'clock in the evening, when you have no work to do, just go in silence till next morning 8 o'clock. From this evening till next evening. There is no need to talk during meals. There is no need to talk during walking. Stay in your internal silence. Even once you are with everyone, keep on analyzing yourself, because time is very less and the work which is to be done is so big. And no one else can do this for me except myself. Bit by bit, increase trusteeship. Let me become more and more trustee. Bit by bit, let me increase my detachment, my disinterest in this world. So many worldliness. An ambitious mind cannot be a religious mind. And religious mind is a non-ambitious mind. Worldly ambitions, they are not for me at present. My life is spiritual. My journey is internal. My efforts, my treasures are all within me. I have to fulfill Baba's dreams. And I have to give myself as a gift to Baba, becoming an angel. Bit by bit, let me increase my watchfulness, wakefulness, alertfulness, mindfulness. Every moment let me spend as if I am alert. I don't want to sleep at all during day. The moment I sleep, I fall down. The sleep of forgetfulness. When you walk as if I am walking. When you eat, as if you are eating. Only eating, nothing else. Doing everything in the stage of wakefulness. As if somebody is watching me, as if I am on the stage and the whole world is watching me. My every action, my every word, my every dialogue is getting recorded. Even thoughts for that matter. Just imagine, you have seen Diamond Hall, there are 2 big screens there. Just imagine if whatever you think gets typed there and the whole Brahmin family is seeing. Whatever I am thinking is getting typed there. And the whole Brahmin family is seeing like that, with wide open eyes. And they think that you are a great yogi. And they think that you are in Gyan and you are very near to Baba. And these are my thoughts now. 24 hours thoughts. In medical field we have Holter monitoring. 24 hours record of the heart rate. In the same Holter monitoring of the thoughts. So monitoring thoughts is a stage of wakefulness, alertfulness. Then more and more X-ray, more and more going within and analyzing and self-checking and self-observing and soul-searching. And more zeal and enthusiasm in everything. So this is a life which has come to as a gift from Baba. We had never expected that our life would become so elevated at any point of time. And all these things, whatever we said, we discussed here, things happen bit by bit. Om Shanti.